May I know, what is SDG?
Sustainable Development Goals or SDG are the world's foundation sets to apply to all nations with regard that no one will left behind. Goals and targets will stimulate action over the next 15 years. In importance of humanity and planet. With balance of three-dimension of sustainable development. Which economic, social and environmental. Here is the 17 goals of SDG.
What about SDG in Islamic perspective?
To implement SDGs. SDG is considered as an Islamic law. In order to motivate Islamic nations in accordance of appeasing Allah, for our well-being in life and hereafter. Islam is a religion that offers a comprehensive moral code that will instruct people on all facets of living.
يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين.
According to United Nations, this goal is created to ensure significant mobilization of resources from a variety of sources, including enhanced development cooperation, to provide sufficient and foreseeable opportunities for developing countries, particularly least developed countries, to implement programs and policies aimed at eradicating poverty in all of its forms. Islam is fundamentally sensitive to poverty, and to address the issue of poverty and deprivation of basic requirements, Islam has built in measures such as zakat, a defined proportion of wealth above nisab, or the minimum amount needed for basic life. Islamic texts imply two levels of poverty, which may be translated into two poverty lines, and two corresponding income levels, which are: firstly, high poverty rate that referred to hardcore poverty in Islamic language, as expressed in the concepts of faqir and miskin.
Secondly, lower poverty incidence, which may be referred as general poverty, as suggested by Zak and Nisab.
A poverty alleviation should be taken into account as such. To curb this problem, positive measures include income growth, factor pricing, via reasonable and equitable income distribution, and offering equal opportunity to all.
What happened to these people? Why do they look so skinny and not healthy?
This happened to the world nowadays where it calls food crisis. In an article from the World Economic Forum, a food crisis can be defined as acute food insecurity that occurs when a person's inability to access and consume adequate food. This crisis is one of the highest three levels of food insecurity, whereas in the worst level, which is a catastrophe, where households having an extreme lack of food or other basic needs, or it can be both.
Oh, I think this is a worldwide solution to ensure that everyone can have effort to help others in need in order to end hunger.
In 2015, Sustainable Development Goals were introduced by the United Nations, and one of the goals is Zero Hunger, which is SDG 2. The goals are in line with the effort to ensure people in the world do not starve. Other than that, it is also to promote sustainable agriculture and support small farmers all over the world.
Is there alternative to stop this crisis according to Islamic teaching?
According to Islamic scholars, this is actually inadequate. Islamic scholars developed a wide framework based on what is known as the goals or Maqasid Sharia, to describe the Islamic perspective on development. So Maqasid Sharia was referred to as guidance to any problem that occurs.
SDG 5 concerns about gender equality, where it aims to achieve a peaceful, prosperous and sustainable world by year 2030. Gender discrimination is a form of discrimination where one gender is treated differently from others and vice versa. Employees may experience unequal treatments based on sex, such as unequal remuneration, restriction of benefits or promotion because of their genders, and unjust firing and hiring practices. Sex discrimination in the workplace became illegal under federal law with the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This protection extends to individuals who are applying to jobs and current employees.
Islam introduces the concept of gender equality. In Surah An-Nahl verse 90. Gender equality perspective in Islam has been established in the Sharia to benefit human in the world and in the hereafter, both individually and in congregation. This verse of Quran has become a general goal of Sharia to realize the justice and virtue.
A society's income distribution is of extreme importance because it affects the social unity of the community. If there is an inequality of income distribution, it may cause a fatal effect such that crime cases like robbery, since they are desperately in need of money.
So, Islam approached this issue by zakat. It basically helped the needy people, so it guarantees a welfare of a community. Zakat makes people care about each other's only small percentage of one's savings or investment to be given to the needy people. By this, we help ourselves purify our wealth, purify our heart by not being greedy. We are doing charity or sadaqah to them as well. It is only 2.5% regardless your wealth value, either it's gold stocks or savings.
And that is how Islam gives the best approach on how to combat unequal income distribution and achieving SDG 10, which reduce inequalities. According to Asamoglu, in order to promote sustainable growth, institutions and organizations must tally with the rule of law, the sanctity of human rights, and the impact of stability the priority they deserve. In the past 300 years ago, societies that endorse principles of democracy, uphold human rights, and adopt inclusive economic structures have experienced growth and prosperity. According to United Nations, SDG 16 is about seeking advanced social harmony and a strong corporate culture to promote sustainable development. SDG 16 also focused on crucially reducing crime and violence through justice and powerful institutions, supporting the rule of law, and improving the involvement of poor nations in institutions of global governance. A strong institutions is a concept of adala, which means justice and fairness. Justice is an important element in society that is riddled with potential conflicts of interest. Islam emphasizes people who are trusted to bear the trust to deal with people with injustice. Meanwhile, fairness is limited by any discrimination based on other factors than necessary abilities.
ويوم نبعث في كل أمة شهيدا عليهم من أنفسهم وجئنا بك شهيدا على هؤلاء ونزلنا عليك الكتاب تبيانا لكل شيء وهدى ورحمة وبشرى للمسلمين.
And mention the day when we will resurrect among every nation a witness over them from themselves. And we will bring you, O Muhammad, as a witness over your nation. And we have sent down to you the book as clarification for all things, and as guidance, and mercy, and good tidings for the Muslims.